Hi my lovely YouTube friends, family. Before I even open my mouth, I'm going to do a disclaimer. My name's Dawn. You found Lounge Bar Crime. Everything you hear in this video is from my own research. It's my opinion and it's for entertainment purposes only. That said, let's get on it. Right. I think it's pretty obvious with the thumbnail what I'm going to talk about, and I don't know what's going on with the prosecution. The only thing that I can surmise from all this is that they're scared. Right, so I think it's a bit obvious what I'm going to speak about. Basically, I feel with the case of Danmarkel, I feel that the prosecution, not all of them, some of you know my thoughts on that, but I think I'm just going to call it. I think the main two, which is George Kappelman and Jack Campbell. I know he's her boss, and some people have said that he calls all the shots, but I actually shown last time how he did say he'll be in talks with George Kappelman with regards to this. But I think those two are running scared. I think they're out of the depth. And you know what? It's not the first time that I've called George Kappelman out, and I'm not even going to butter it up anymore. It just is what it is. I'll tell you, I'm really, really disgusted. And do you know what I'm disgusted with? You see, Mr. Gregor, that neighbour, I feel like, when you say to people, how dare you? That's how I feel about this case. How dare you keep people hanging on for that long at that time in their life?
On that morning, my wife and I were sitting in our living room, which looks out over Trescott Drive here, and we were working with an iPad on a couch, and we heard a noise, a loud bang. We weren't sure what it was, and I quickly got up to see what might have caused that noise. And there had been at the time some burglaries in the area, and I was concerned that perhaps that had been a burglary attempt. And so
when they should be relaxing, doing a bit of gardening, clear mind, everything in their retirement. Jeffrey Lecaz, in the prime of his life, has had this over him. When all this started, he wasn't, he didn't have a family or anything like that. In the prime of his life, they've ruined, and I'm going to call it as it is, because they have ruined, and I'm afraid all the excuses and the reasons and the hold-ups and this OCD way of wanting to do things, we're going to do this and then it'll be that, and stay tuned for what? All this OCD, which I said last week in the video last week. I think it's just been an excuse because you're frightened of getting out there and doing it, because I don't know why. So, in answer to anybody that says things like, well, no, they need Wendi. They need Wendi for Donna's trial. No, they don't. That's an excuse. Let me tell you that now. That's an excuse. And months ago, I said that if this carried on, Wendi was already trying to pull away. She was doing every excuse that she could not to speak to her mother and not going to see Charlie. She was doing everything she could. Where is she now? Well, she's in Texas, I believe. Again, that's hit and miss half the time, but I believe she is there. And she's done. And I could see it. And if I could see it, the prosecution could see it. If I could see it, millions could see it. And I said she's going to segregate herself until it looks like she's got absolutely nothing to do with this case. People aren't even talking about her now as much. And this is why I keep saying we need to keep this alive. We need to just keep doing this. Now, there's a couple of other things that have crossed my mind with this as well. I doubt this very much, but I'm going to put it out there because it's happened before. So there was some people thought, oh, like, I wonder if, like, the prosecution's strings are being pulled by somebody else, somebody further up than Jack Campbell. Now, I doubt it, because if that was the case, they wouldn't have got Charlie and they wouldn't have got Donna. Now listen, they messed up with Rushborn, right? They let him make a complete hash of this case, and they did nothing, absolutely nothing. So now we've got this coming back to us with Charlie, who will probably get his appeal, and it'll all be that again. Then, okay, so now Donna, so they were struck off. It took Judge Everett to get rid of them, right? Clean slate. So now I believe she's got somebody that used to work on Dan Markel's case or something. I need to check into that a little bit more before I give you more on that, but I think that's it. And she used to be a judge, and now she's a lawyer again through illness or something. I don't know. But so what's that? Is that another recipe for disaster? Are we going to let that carry on? If that's going to be a problem, sort it out now. Get rid of it now and throw it aside. Let's not start this case. And the other thing is, all this, we've got to, like, Wendi needs to be there for, because they need it as a witness. Like I've said 5 minutes ago, that's rubbish. That's an excuse. That's rubbish. What has Wendi contributed? Everything that anybody could use on Wendi a lot of it was contributed on the day of the murder, in that interview room, calling out Charlie, trying to use Lacaz as a fall guy. Okay, so everything was there. Her going to the crime scene, it was all done and dusted on that day. She's not contributed anything but a load of lies. She's not needed for Donna. Right? Harvey, we know Harvey was involved in this. We know he was involved in this. He's had access to everything, all the information from the bump, all the emails. This is a guy that pulls every time he's got a case going on with a lawyer or a different company. He tries to get his money back. This is a guy that sold his Lexus to Mag Banowa for peanuts, even though now she's said, oh yeah, no, that was right, I did pay the... She's a waste of time as well, and that's another problem, that the longer that this goes on, we've seen it with June Unchinder, that her evidence becomes diluted until it's nothing. So I'll tell you what's going to happen if this keeps going. Please God, it doesn't, touch wood. Somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to die. Because there's a few people involved in this case that are in their 80s. Okay, so something is going to happen. And like I can't say enough, please God, I hope it doesn't. Right, I'm touching wood. That's what I keep doing there. I don't want anything, obviously I don't want anything to happen, but and I don't want to be right. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this doesn't happen. But if you're going to wait another couple of years before you go and get Wendi, those chances are very, very fine. They're diminishing, and they're diminishing very, very fast. Not, it's not like, like I said in Patreon that Markels were in the 70s and they're in their 80s. I don't know how old Mr. Geiger is. And he's important because he was one. Without him, this case would have took a lot longer to get off the floor. But so, my point is, you've got people that have dedicated themselves like that to this case, crucial times in their life, and then you've got the prosecution saying, stay tuned in interviews. No, thank you. No, thank you. Don't want to stay tuned, because it's all a load of BS. You've done absolutely nothing in a long time. It took even after, the bump happened in 2016. What was all that information for? What did you do the bump for? Should have just gone and picked a lot of them up, separated them, instead of all this carrying on. So what have we got now? So we've got Donna, and then we've got Charlie, with what's going on with him. Rochborn is spending his millions. You sat on that. That's why I just think, how dare you do this to a family and just carry on and carry on and carry on. And honestly, the times that when I've gone on like this and I've had people, like in my comments saying, yeah, but they've got to make sure they're 100%. That's how I felt. That's how I felt like 3 years ago. In 3 years, nothing apart from the last 12 months. You've got Charlie and you've got Donna there. And Donna now should have now been sentenced. If they was doing it like that and they was going to do it the right way, they should have called Rochborn out, because they couldn't do a plea deal, because that would have been playing one off against the other. So they knew that. They knew that they wouldn't get a plea deal out of them. Whether they wanted it or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they've got to get a result on this case. So really, they should have had an offer there, and they should have been able to have put that offer there, but they couldn't, because Rochborn was blocking that as well, because they knew he wasn't going to, say to Charlie, do you want to turn your mother in, or say to Donna, do you want to turn Charlie in, because he had his foot in both places. He didn't want to upset that, because there was that money and then there was this money. So they knew that. You only had to put that together. And like I said, all the time I always thought, how can they do it? How can they do that? How can he be an attorney? So let that go. And it carried on, and now it's made an ash of it. And why are you not listening to what everybody's saying? It doesn't matter that we're just YouTubers. That doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that we've never seen a case or a trial. We've seen hundreds of them on YouTube. And before YouTube, we've seen hundreds of trials. We've watched them, but no, you're not doing anything that is classed as anything proactive on this case at all. You're just sitting on it. I just want you to listen to this with Jack Campbell. Right now, at the start of it, he's talking about
negotiations with the state.
Sure.
The interviewer
Mr.
asked
Morris
him
is a
about
great trial
plea
attorney.
deals.
I think he's
just listen to this.
If he says that, I look forward to it. Once again, there's a reason why plea negotiations are supposed to be kept confidential, and so I'm not going to speak as to it at all. I can tell you, probably 99% of the cases this office handles are resolved through some type of negotiation. So we're willing to negotiate and talk. Have no fear. Nothing will be done without consultation with the Markel family.
On that note, nothing will be done without consultation with the Markel family. The Markel family are in their hands. They can't say, no, I want this, I want that. He's trying to make out as though, in my opinion, okay, he's trying to make out, no, it's not just me, it's not just Georgia, it's done, it's a full agreement. Are you telling me that all these negotiations of hanging on this long, yeah, you might have told the Markels why you're doing it, but are you trying to tell me that they've had some input? They're at your mercy. That's what they are, and you know it. So you've only got to say that we're doing it like this because we've got, we can't get Wendi yet because we need her for Donna. So they're just listening to it. They don't do this every day, and possibly they've not watched all the trials, and they weren't into true crime like we all were before. So it's a load of rubbish. It's all a load of rubbish. And watch this. He'll just carry on and he'll go round in circles and repeat himself. But what he won't do is hand anything over and give you anything to convince you, because he's not convinced me of nothing other than he's going round in circles, that anything is going to happen anytime soon with this case at all.
There's nothing secret that's going to happen where this would be, and I think the fear of a lot of people watching this interview or reading your paper, if there was a negotiation,
what negotiations?
It would all come out before it was finalized. So we would notify the media, the family would know, and there's no secret deal. Everything will eventually come out, but it begins in earnest through conversations back and forth. And so that would be just like we don't tell y'all while we're investigating a crime what our evidence is. We eventually show you our evidence in trial. That would be same with a plea negotiation, just like anytime y'all come and see
we know
us play
that
a case
now.
The terms of the plea are all discussed. The family is consulted, and we'd be able to talk about it. But it's way too early at this point to anticipate if the negotiations will go anywhere. And
which
what
means
any
nothing's
terms would
happening.
be.
In other words, I mean, this isn't recent. This is a good few weeks ago. But what it means, there's nothing secret. We're not hiding anything. Like we're trying to make it all so exciting. What it means is they're doing nothing. There's nothing to offer the Markels. There is nothing. There's no secret deals. There's no negotiations. There's nothing. And he just repeats the same thing over and over and over again. Doing absolutely jack all. That's what he's doing.
Don't count on anything until it's final. And so that's where right now everybody, I think to use his word, he's regrouping. My guess is that she is too. We certainly are. And we'll take the next step when the next step gets there.
So, I mean, we know shouldn't have to fire Mr. Morris because Judge Everett did anything. But did you hear what he said there? This was at that stage where we didn't know. He said, I don't know what she's going to do. That's right. Leave it in the hands of the Adelsons for them to decide. Don't you take any action. Don't Georgia Kappelman, who is going to be your point of contact to have the conversation with, remember. Don't use to force your hand or force their hand and do anything. Let's just wait and let's just see what Wendi would like to do. When Wendi would like to come in and see us. Absolutely a joke. And I think you're out of your depth. And that's exactly how I feel. They're out of the depth. There's one person that I've not mentioned, and I've got a soft spot for her, which is Sarah Dugan, because that they're the type of people that you want on this case. People like that Vasquez and people like that. Sarah Dugan, as I've said before, I'll just say this quickly again for anybody that hasn't heard this before, but I think Sarah Dugan is the only one out of the both of them that can give Wendi Adelson a run for her money, because I don't think Georgia Kappelman did. And when she was interviewing Charlie Adelson at the start, I fell asleep. I said that in my life. I fell asleep, right? Because I was bored. It took ages for her to get anything going. And even then, she never goes back at them with anything. And sometimes when she's asking the questions, because I've been watching it today, sometimes when she's asking the question, rather than asking the question and just shutting up to hear what they say, she'll say, what did you do? She's practically giving him an answer. All like the forensic accountants, the detectives, the people that have arranged the wiretaps and all that lot, they've all done their bit. You've got it all. You've got it. Use it. You've used it. You've used it here and there. You get Donna, get Harvey, get Wendi. You don't need to keep leaving Mr. Geiger, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, and Jeffrey Lacaze, you don't need to leave them hanging on. It's not Tara Demko, she's going to be a witness. Rob Adelson is, put himself on the line, being part of the family, all willing to do this. So it's like, yeah, we're going to subpoena you, we're going to call you, we want you as a witness and everything. Now, can you just hang on for 3 years and worry about it? Or in Mr. Geiger's case, 10 years. Jeffrey Lacaze's case, 10 years. And again, I'll say, how dare you? How dare you do that to people? We need you to do your bit. But in the meantime, not really sure. Because it feels like you've not got this worked out at all. It feels like the only plan that you've got worked out is doing it in that OCD order. And we've got to do this, we've got to do that, we've got to get them first, then them. But the thing is, things aren't working. They're not working. So far, the only Adelson that you got sentenced is now coming back to haunt you. Okay? Which has in turn messed up the case with Donna. So that's been delayed. You've had her for a year. And in the meantime, you've got Wendi swanning around, having a life. And you've got poor Ruth, Phil and Shelley besides themselves, probably wondering now, is this ever going to end? But oh no, let's not upset the way we're doing this. I've probably said quite a lot there that I shouldn't say. No, why have I? I'm only saying what a lot of people are thinking. I'm only saying what a lot of people are thinking. It's a joke. It's a joke. You're out of your depth. And you know what? I don't even know if somebody else should take over the case. They got rid of Rashborn and he's got himself Offerman, whatever it's called. Yeah. I think it needs somebody that can get in there, fight, get the teeth into it and fight. And I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that at all. I'm just seeing all this organised whatever. And I don't even know why Jack Campbell isn't saying to Georgia Kappelman, like, where's Wendi? Have we not got Wendi? He runs a team. So he knows how it goes. And for a lot of us, and you aren't lawyers, doesn't mean you don't know, and doesn't mean that you haven't got a valid opinion. You have. Listen, lawyers are not gods. They make a lot of mistakes, and some lawyers are pretty shit. Absolute shit. I know for a fact I could do a lot better myself, and some are absolutely mustard. And on this case, it needed somebody that was mustard, and they haven't got that. Apart from Sarah Dugan, I think she's going to go a long way here, but not on this case because they won't allow her. She was the only one that got Magbanoa, so she didn't know which way to turn in that box. And I said, even then, the first time, I said, then rewind the tapes. I said, don't you think George Kappelman was like, go easy? Didn't she go easy on Magbanoa? I thought she might have, yeah. So, like, what are you doing? Go at her. Go at her. So she doesn't know what day it is. Even like the last time she'd done the proffer, two proffers, which to me says that she ain't giving anything up. Well, we know because the detective walked out, didn't he? Because he was frustrated. At least there was somebody frustrated. It just feels as though she's happy to accept anything that's just given to her. She doesn't tackle it much. Not much, really.
And so I've learned over the years, don't count on anything until it's final. So that's where...
Yeah, but you have to make that happen.
Everybody, I think to use his word, he's regrouping. My guess is that she is too. We certainly are. And we'll take the next step when the next step gets there.
I've had some, just to say, like my viewers and everything, I've had some really, really positive comments recently, and some of them are really, it just proves what I've just said, to be fair, that a lot of them they know a lot more than people give them credit for. And some people are only just into true crime, and they'll say like, what, how do you know this and how do you know that, or they're not really into true crime at all, but they just don't think anybody who isn't a lawyer should have an opinion. It works both ways, but a lot of yous are really, really astute, and some of yous are really funny. And just let me read this. This person has given me a couple of comments in the last week, and it just made me laugh. Jules 5807. So they say to one of my previous videos, yeah, I agree. Both sets of lawyers don't seem to be considering the longevity of this Shakespearean drama. I mean, how true is that? All show, nothing happening. And he's got that 100%. It is. It's just like a period drama. It's just going on, series after series after series, and nothing happening. So, do you know how I don't know if the prosecution has seen it like this, but you know how Wendi turning up at the crime scene is damning evidence. Some of the things that she said in that interview is damning evidence. And I don't know whether, because the prosecution have looked at all this evidence for so long, that it's diluted down and doesn't mean anything to them. But because it doesn't mean anything to them, doesn't mean that it wouldn't mean anything to a jury. I just feel that even when sort of like Charlie was on the stand, some of the things that he was saying was ridiculous, and we know Georgia did all that, that was about as exciting as it got, but there was loads of things that she could have gone back at him at and just made him look ridiculous, and she didn't. And even Wendi, now before anybody tells me, I know Wendi was just a witness at the time and they didn't want to do this, that and the other in case they lost her. But the thing is, the rubbish that Wendi came out with, she could have made her look a bigger fool than she did. Instead of like answering her, even with the gibbers thing. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just saying, like you've got it in your phone as this. So she said, you've got it in your phone. So she makes her answer that. And she says, yeah, but then she should have gone back and said, but you've just said that you don't know. She should have made her give a stupid reply. That's what she should be making them do. Give like absolutely ridiculous answers and replies, instead of just doing this tick off for the next question. I don't like that system. I know she needs to get through it, and Sarah Dugan does as well. But when they're answering Sarah Dugan, she's listening to the answer, and she doesn't go to the next question if she thinks she can take something up with that reply. She goes back at it. I just want to interrupt myself just 1 minute. There's a titular little like button down there. If you don't mind smashing it. I know you probably don't want to after listening to me going on, but yeah, if you don't mind. And if you don't mind subscribing, great stuff. Thank you for that. And leave me a comment. Leave me a comment, especially. I know a lot of people are going to think I'm wrong or I'm out of order, but leave me a comment anyway. We'll get through it. We'll talk about it. Anyway, can I just say something as well? I hope you have enjoyed this video. For as much as you can enjoy a video like this. I'm not normally all moody like this. I'm not, but I just think that they need some pressure on them. It's becoming a joke. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for them. I'm not bothered. I'll stand on the top of a tower and shout it. get your finger out, get somebody arrested. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm not bothered. But it's embarrassing for them because I don't think they're doing a good job at all. Not at all. And right, like I said, right, I did think ages ago. I think we all thought, yeah, they've got something up the sleeve. No, because it's so quiet. When they get Donna and when they get Charlie, I bet they've got something up the sleeve. And flipping heck, I didn't think they were just going to sit back like this and leave people like that, swinging like they don't matter, because that's what they're doing. Like they don't matter. I don't think there's anything else really that I've got to tell you. I do know that when I did sort of lean on this in this direction last week, and I thought that would have been enough for me, but it's not. I just thought, you know what, I've got to put it out there exactly how I think, because I'm holding back, but I just don't think there's enough people putting pressure on, and we need to put pressure on. All of yous do, and for them that support me, thank you so much. I really, 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 really do appreciate it, because I know at the moment I'm not popular, but I'm not in a popularity contest, so I don't really care. I've never been popular anyway, so oh, look at me playing the victim. No, I don't care. I'm not really bothered what anybody thinks. Like I said last week, if I can't say what I think, I don't want to cover the case. And as it goes on more and more, and this is what I think is going to happen, I think more and more people are just going to move away from this case, that are just thinking, and if you're thinking, the prosecution, that everybody is, they're not. There's too many people that I've invested, almost like all my spare time goes into this. I know I cover other cases, and I cover different little cases in my Patreon and everything, sometimes to keep myself sane, because I can't accept what's going on with this case. I find it totally unacceptable. I don't know if you've enjoyed this video or not, or found it interesting, let's put it that way, because nobody's going to enjoy this, are they? Dawn going off on one. Again, I'm making a habit of it recently, I know, but that I'm not like that all the time. Sometimes I'm really, really good fun as well. But I just think, at this moment, I think at the moment, we all need to get on this, because it's losing its momentum, and we need to just rein it back in and get it sorted, and stop letting them just carry on with this big silence and nothing's happening. Absolutely ridiculous. So look at me, I'm starting again. Backed away. Anyway, I'm gonna finish off. I am gonna put another little video on just after this, just to let you know something that's been going on. Okay, so all right. Oh, I do love you, the ones that really support me and everything. I know it's like, and I know a lot of you feel like I do, and honestly, you're such a great support. You're hanging on in there, and you're doing everything you can, and we wouldn't have a voice without you. So thank you so much. Anyway, I'm going to say good night, take care, stay safe, and come back. I'll see you soon. Bye.
The state isn't going to decide to arrest me.